ready to burn out and to fade away.
Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at WhisperStatus74. I just want to say hello really quick. I just put together a quick video of 3 of my favorite walking simulator games on the Sony X950H. I hope everybody is doing well. I suffered a little bit of an injury trying to train here at home, so I've been down and out for the last couple days, but I will still be here to bring you guys content. I am thinking about you guys. Please try and stay healthy. Try and do everything you can to make yourselves happy during this crazy time. The reason for this video is to show you my favorite 3 kind of walking simulators that look amazing on PC on the Sony X950H. These games are the ones I play to be completely immersed and also to relax. We buy films that aren't always the best films, but do look the best, and I believe these 3 games look amazing when playing them on PC, and I've put them on every display that I've owned, from my plasma onto the OLEDs that have been in here, as well as the new Sony X950H. Special thanks to Wendy and Robert Zahn of Value Electronics for providing the Sony X950H. Please check them out and consider making your next purchase through them. I hope the rest of you guys and everyone out there is doing okay. I'm thinking about you. I will be live streaming in a few days. I'll be trying it. Doesn't matter how many of you guys join me. I'm really doing that just to check up on you guys and see how everybody is doing, being so isolated. It's not really about the amount of people that join the live stream. If you can't make it, don't worry. It's more about just reaching out to you guys when we're all so isolated, just checking in on the community and see how you are. This is the first time you're seeing me. Please consider liking and subscribing. We are a very small tech community. And on to the videos. You should be seeing these in 4K 30. They were shot 4K 60. And I will talk to you guys in the comments, and I'll be catching up on the comments. Love you guys. Enjoy the Sony X950H in game mode. Hey, what's up guys? This is Brian at WhisperStatus74. This is another random game on the X950H Sony Bravia. I promised I'd be doing these random gameplay clips at 4K 60 FPS. They're non-HDR when I'm playing a random game, and tonight we're playing Firewatch. Taking a little bit of a break from Doom Eternal and Modern Warfare to play a game that is actually very isolating and lonely, which is probably the wrong kind of game to play. Initially, it has a very almost undetailed look to it, almost cel-shaded, and just gets more detailed as the world goes on. It's a narrative-driven kind of walking simulator. I love these types of games. But what looks so basic when you first start the game does look amazing, as well as the sound of the title. Now we're just in game mode. Default game mode, all live color, things of that nature are off. This is on PC, native 4K on NVIDIA GTX 1080 Ti. But where a game like Ethan Carter looks realistic, a title like this, again, initially looks very cartoony, and then all of a sudden is just very stunning. I'll be putting these videos up, whatever I'm playing, whenever I'm thinking about you guys, again, to distract you on what's going on in the world by showing you a game that is infinitely more lonely and solitary than we all are right now. But whenever I'm going through these types of games and I see images that make me say, damn, I immediately think about you guys and I want to share it with you. These videos aren't going to get a lot of views or a lot of anything, and that's okay. But it is a beautiful title. art design reminds me a little bit of that underwater game that I did a video on a few months ago. Kind of where you're diving underneath, where it just didn't look detailed, and all of a sudden it was just very detailed. I've had this game in my collection for, I don't know, 2 years. It's a gorgeous title. This is a game that would definitely be great in VR. Keeps telling me that's a waterfall. Got it. Something about the immersion of these games just relaxes me. Yeah, the title of the game is Firewatch, and there is a fire. Game is available, I believe, on the PS4, the Xbox One. Still calling it the Xbox One after all these years, and the PC. These games are probably 5 to 6 hours long, probably $15 to $30. But I figure you guys appreciate some of the visuals and some of the visual random things like a tree in midair. Not everything's perfect. Oh my gosh. Bush. Don't give away any of the story. Now, a game like The Vanishing of Ethan Carter has always been something that I've looked at with every display I've ever had in here. Now you look at the Sony 950H. I've had it with the LG OLEDs, with the Vizio Quantum XP series, the Sony 900E, and it's always an amazing game to look at graphically. There's a more realistic image than Firewatch. Now again, why these games can be a little boring, to me it's really the immersion and just beauty of the titles. And many of us buy movies just as demos, which we'll be covering with some films, but this is a game I definitely recommend just to see how your games look and how your display looks displaying these titles. It's a non-HDR title. Live color, A lot of those settings are disabled, dynamic contrast. So I want to show you what the games really look like. Now this game is a few years old. They had the original and then the Redux. This is the Redux. This game was available on PS4 initially. For the PC, I believe it's available for Xbox as well. These games run about 6 hours long, but no matter what graphics card I have, no matter what I'm playing, I always want to come back to these titles. You know, one to remind me why I love PC gaming, but also to see 4K. I played this in 1080p, but you know, looking at the railings and just the distance.
Red Creek Valley seemed like a quiet, ordinary place. I've learned two things in my life. No place is truly quiet, and nowhere is really ordinary. Ethan warned me about that. Warned me not to be fooled by what I saw here. He didn't need to worry. I've worked dozens of cases, hundreds. This would be my
Pardon
last
the
one.
narrative.
Already I knew that.
But I know many of you do this. When I'm in areas that actually look this way, I actually do think of gaming. And I know that they're intertwined. The Sony has a very natural look. Where I felt the OLED and the Vizio, you know, kind of added a little of its own saturation. We all love the games, the shooting games, and the multiplayer, but these are the ones that I play to relax me. And even the games that I've beaten, to go back and just walk through the world. You can see the detail underneath. You can hear the wind. I believe if you buy this on Steam, you get both versions of the game. The original Ethan Carter was cleaner. It actually had, you know, better water effects, but this game overall looks better. Let's see as we get to the paint of this old rail car. Now that blooming you see here is, you know, it's there, but it's there on my image too. It's meant to glow. Just look at the detail. Going to the down by the water. I'm going to edit these all together. It'll also give you an idea of what the Sony 950H looks like on PC. Those of you that love Sony love that color reproduction. And those of you that saw the game the other day, when I had it after Doom, that bridge is where we were. This is being filmed at 4K 60, and the editing will downsample it to 4K 30. Many of you will be seeing it in 1440p. But a really gorgeous title. And like I said, we buy movies that we don't always love to see what they look like. We'll be covering those as well. But for pretty non-expensive games, to see what your TV and your systems can do, this one's very hard to beat. You can see that the 950H is very clean. There was no banding, there's no DSC. Kind of the advantage of having a 49-inch TV. Walk up here, see the sun shining through. We'll get to this old train and then we'll show you one more title. And that'll be today's video. Now, for me, I'd love to see a game that is fully fleshed out with action and this kind of detail. The streets, picture like a Last of Us designed this way. And how many areas we've seen in real life that are run down and abandoned. It gives you that sense of foreboding. We'll go down to the bridge. Looking down at the water. Different pathways.
No trains have been through here for a long time.
And there's the houses we were looking at in the last video.
Large pieces of this country will flow away, doomed to become and then remain worst versions of themselves.
And just look how detailed.
Dark things grow.
The paint, the dents. Look at that. It's amazing. Now, all three games that I'm showing you have very different looks, but are all, to me, demo material. Now we'll make it over to that bridge. Like, how many structures have you walked by that you see that look like that in your life? You know, the difference in the And then here's the bridge that we saw in the last video. Puddles. You can actually see the glimmer of them, the sunrise. You see that Sony color at work. You see the puddles?
I've seen every version of people hurting each other.
You can see there's no blooming around the subtitles here.
We blame it on compulsion, selfishness, madness. I suppose the idea is
Alright guys, on to the next game.
we can control.
Now, Dear Esther has a different look. Realistic, like The Vanishing Ethan Carter, a little more saturated, but a good mixture of the two. Another creepy game down by the water. A lot like playing a book. But very detailed just the same. How wet everything looks. water, the reflection. Let's see the moon. There it is. Another beautiful game. And like I mentioned, not the most exciting games, but these to me are just graphical powerhouses. Let's see if I can get out there and go to the water. Now, unfortunately, the light and dark do wreak havoc on the camera. So we'll brighten that up just a little bit. Now for me, also 4K in some ways was a disappointment initially in regards to films being mostly 2K upscales. But in gaming, it's where it really showed what it could do for me in terms of anti-aliasing and how clean the image could look. And the fact that you can watch something on an 80-inch display or 85-inch display or 75-inch and see things look as beautiful as they do on this 49-inch display. And to see worlds like this being fully realized. Again, no HDR in this game. We'll see if we can load up a different level. What's cool about this game too is once you beat it, you can actually go back to the different levels without erasing your progress. Again, the game's probably about 5 or 6 hours long. And see the sun peeking through. And the boat down there. All the different flowers. How clean that image actually is. You can really see what the Sony 950H can do. How clean it looks.
I've begun to wonder if Donnelly's voyage here was as prosaic as it was presented.
Go down to the
I'm
boat.
disappointed not to have found the bones of the holy man. No wonder he hated the inhabitants so. To him they must have seemed like barnacles mindlessly clinging to a mercy seat. Why cling so hard to the rock? Because it is the only thing that stops us from sliding into the ocean. Into oblivion.
Just once I want to sound like that when I talk. Oh, man. It's the detail in the sand. Again, the Sony has that natural look. You know, not blowing out the highlights, not oversaturated. Now, you can make it look that way with live color and dynamic contrast, but a very natural, beautiful image. Now, which of the three do you like the best? Vanishing Ethan Carter, Firewatch, or this one? And this is the very beginning of the game here. But again, how many times have you been and seen areas like this, this haunting lighthouses? Again, when I'm in these areas in real life, I do think about gaming. Which is so bizarre because I'm actually seeing the real thing and I'm thinking about gaming. And when I'm thinking about gaming, I want it to look more real. Now when you see the wind blowing and that's what I want in multiplayer titles. You can see that in Battlefield. I want to see that in Modern Warfare. I want to see a little bit of the grass moving, things like that. Go inside. How beautiful this game actually is. If you look at this and compare it to, say, Resident Evil 7, you know, which was grittier but didn't look anywhere near as real as something like this. Alright guys, that is my Alright guys, that is my journey through walking simulators on the Sony X950H 4K. Let me know which ones you liked. If you made it this far, I know they're boring games, but if you want to see gameplay demos to see how well your display looks, these are the ones. Take care.